Trout are important for a couple of different reasons. One, they're a great indicator species of our watershed health. If our trout populations are thriving, then our watershed is doing well. If our watershed does well, then everything downstream does well.
Trout Unlimited, we work in the places we work so we can recover cold water areas and preserve them for the future, for our children in the future, for future generations, and ensure these beautiful wild places still exist. In the Bear River, there's been 20 years of work by Trout Unlimited. A lot of that work has been focused on fish passage, and that fish passage has been important to allow fish to migrate from lower in the drainage to higher up in the drainage so they can reproduce and finish out their life cycle. And if on their migration they hit barriers or dams, diversion dams, they won't be able to spawn that year. The more years we get without fish spawning, we have less fish in the system, decreasing the overall population, putting this species more at risk.
So that's going to become even more critical, certainly in the age of climate change. With things warming up, you need the ability to move and migrate to the cold water especially.
Some of the projects we've done are directed towards decreasing sediment. One of the big sources of water quality pollution in the Bear River is sediment, and a big source of sediment has been determined these river-wide diversion dams, and those diversion dams need to get built every year, so you have heavy machinery in the river kicking up dust, kicking up dirt, adding it to the system, which then gets washed down, decreasing water quality. By removing those river-wide diversions, we're increasing water quality and improving the water quality, which benefits the entire drainage.
Back in the day when I fished the Bear, when I was a young man, there was plenty of fish. The watershed was clear, cold, and just the changes I've seen over that period of time. Things deteriorated, lots of sediment in the Bear River, and I have great hope for the future that the work that's being done on the Bear with Trout Unlimited will correct those things.
On the East Fork Hilliard project that's on the East Fork Bear River, they had a push-up dam there where the water users had to come in and bring equipment in every year to literally push up the material of the riverbed to turn it into the irrigation ditch. And so we got rid of that practice when we put permanent rock cross-vein structures in, so they can still divert their water, but we can still have fish passage. In addition, we added a fish screen in their canal. And so when fish go into the canal, they then get routed back to the river rather than making a one-way trip down the canal.
TU is well positioned for success here because of the relationships that we have and our strong track record. We work collaboratively. We work across different land ownerships and jurisdictions. We work with private landowners, federal agencies, state entities. There's no other organization working across boundaries and with different partners like Trout Unlimited.
We've lived here 22 years, and the Bear River is frontage for us down in our pasture. We always wanted to live by a river, and so we found it, and here we are.
On the main stem Bear River, Evanston Dam was the municipal water source for the city of Evanston. They took their water source off that in the 1980s, but the dam was still in place. So last year, we took the river around the dam and buried the dam, and now we have basically fish passage upstream and downstream.
Moving a river is a feat, so the engineering had to be quite substantial to keep it where they put it, which it did. I think it's more beautiful than what we expected it to be. I think they outdid themselves.
Oh yeah. I hope 20 years from now it looks as good as it does today.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think with their professionalism, their expertise, I think they'll keep it this way.
So Trout Unlimited, working with a variety of partners, federal and state and others across the Bear River watershed, across all 3 states, has really focused on reconnection projects. Most of those projects have been done on small streams like this on Stauffer Creek. And so we've probably literally opened up hundreds of miles of stream for spawning fish to move and migrate into these tributaries to the Bear River.
In Stauffer Creek, the problem was we had an old way of irrigating and we had a ditch system. The habitat had been extremely modified.
On the restoration side of things, the stream channel had been straightened for over 80 years. and the water was returned to the old historical channel to basically improve habitat. In addition, an earthen dam was removed and a bridge was put in, and so now fish can access that habitat upstream of the dam. So projects like this on Stauffer Creek, they're multi-year projects, working with multiple partners like the Forest Service and Idaho Department of Environmental Quality. These projects, from conception, working with a landowner and talking through ideas to actually starting the project, takes a lot of effort and a lot of investment.
Trout Unlimited has been a pivotal partner for the Forest Service. It's unique to have a partner where we can bring the expertise, the technical expertise, and then they bring somewhat of the process and help foster collaboration. If collectively, if we're not all working across the spectrum in a watershed and working within our boundaries, these projects just don't get done. You need champions.
I mean, the Bear River watershed, it's a working watershed, as they say. There's lots of dams and diversions throughout it, and that's really why the reconnection projects, removing fish passage barriers, are so key here. I mean, ultimately what we want to happen is have these fish be self-sustaining, be able to use the habitat they need when they need it, from the main stem Bear River up into the tributary streams and back.
I hope the Bear River watershed looks like it was when I was a kid. I have a grandson, and I hope that one day he'll get to see what I got to see and have the fish in the river like I had fish in the river. It's just a beautiful thing, and I'll be gone one day, and I hope that he can see what I got to see.